A big town council meeting ahead, a conservation restriction approved, and possible changes to ORV policy at Sandy Neck on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, February 15th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. The Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee welcomed Barnstable Land Trust Director Jackie Barden to its meeting Monday afternoon. Jackie spoke to the committee about the Coombs conservation restriction.
This piece of property came as a result of a mailing that we sent out last May in preparation for a workshop that was to be given for landowners. Mrs. Coombs had lost her husband within the prior year. Her children no longer wanted to hold on to the property for cranberrying. And in fact, it hasn't been actively really used for cranberrying in quite a number of years. The bottom line was that we entered into an agreement to purchase the property for $20,000 with an agreement to try to get it done by the end of the year. We immediately went after a state grant, the Conservation Partnership Grant. We asked for $10,000, and those grants were late in coming. And Barnstable Land Trust, I believe, was the only land trust on Cape Cod to receive a Conservation Partnership Grant. It was a big surprise to all of us. We've become very accustomed to receiving state funding for these projects, but because the population is falling on Cape Cod, and because the administration is looking for large acreage, and we can't compete with Western Massachusetts, nor can we compete on a dollar per acre basis, our projects did not fare as well this year. But this one did, and we got an award promise of $10,464 towards the total purchase price and the costs associated with the acquisition. When we accept a grant from the state, we must place a conservation restriction on it. And of course, we would prefer that it be with the town of Barnstable rather than the state. And so we're coming to you with the hope that the town will hold this conservation restriction. Of course, Barnstable Land Trust will own the land and we'll have all the management responsibilities. The town just would be there to monitor the conservation restriction to make sure that we do what we promised.
The LAPC approved that conservation restriction. The committee also received an update on the town's Water Quality Advisory Committee, Cape Cod Pathways, and the Santuit Preserve. The entire meeting can be viewed online at town.barnstable.ma.us. More and more people are opting to take their cars and campers onto the sandy shores of Sandy Neck, prompting Sandy Neck Beach Park manager Nina Coleman to propose changes to the popular summer spot's off-road policies. Nina discussed her plan with the Sandy Neck board Monday evening.
2 months ago, when I was presenting my numbers, not my numbers, Sandy Neck's numbers for calendar year 2011, I noted to both this board and the Conservation Commission my concern about the continual increase in the number of users, off-road vehicle users on Sandy Neck, and that I felt that we were starting to reach a point where we needed to make some decisions. And since that time, I've been brainstorming, and I did come up with a proposal that I'd like to share with everybody. Camper use has gone up 55% in the last 8 years, and day trip use has gone up 50%. So those are really substantial numbers. And when I started the job, there was no pressure with the budget. Felt like we were, in control of the amount of vehicles, and it just keeps ramping up. So we're at that point where we either need to start seriously considering limiting vehicles, or we need to at least try some management strategies, and that's what I'm proposing tonight, is a management strategy, at least initially, to user groups. What I'm concerned about is safety and equity. And so my major concern being out there all summer is that you have people and families crossing the ORV corridor over and over and over again to get to their vehicles. So that's existing conditions, and what I came up with, not me, Doug Cowett said this is how it used to be, is this proposal to address these safety issues that I have. With the campers on the rope. So campers are all along the rope. Those big RVs are going to have to be parallel to the rope, and we can probably slide the slide-ons in, depending on the beach, nose towards the beach. And then down at the end, have the turnaround early and have a family camping area at the end for folks with children that have concerns, and give them an area where there aren't any vehicles driving. And then put all our day trippers on the berm. And this does a couple of things. It greatly reduces the amount of people crossing the ORV corridor, children crossing the ORV corridor. They're still going to have to cross where the portable toilets are. We certainly can put signage up in those locations. You know, there are families, camping families, there's plenty of them. They certainly need a safe place as well, and that's why I'm proposing the end. And it improves aesthetics, because at this point you pull onto the beach and it's just a row of campers, and they're high enough that you aren't able to see past them. It also addresses another issue, which is at night, when we have high tides in the middle of the night. You got all your campers up against the ropes, so you actually have them in the highest location. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't have to evacuate the beach. I've done that plenty of times. We have really high tides and the winds. But for the most part, they're higher and safer in that location. And then it does another thing, which is it provides equity. Because what I'm proposing is that once the ropes are filled, then we don't take any more campers. So essentially, you're giving the same amount of real estate to campers that you are to day trippers, and providing a little bit more of an equal playing field, because the campers are coming early.
Those plans are just in the initial phase. No decision on changes has been made. Town Council meets this Thursday night, and while the agenda itself may seem short, the meeting is expected to take some time. A pair of workshops will likely take the bulk of the meeting, one on the important topic of health care reform and the other on the pressing issue of wastewater. Town Council President Fred Chirigotis outlined this week's agenda at Tuesday afternoon's press conference.
We have a report from the Town Library Committee. We have a workshop from the Citizens Advisory Committee, which has been working diligently for more than a year on wastewater initiatives, clean water initiatives. And we have a workshop on the health care reform law, which I'm sure all will take a few minutes anyway. And once we get to the orders of the day, we have an amendment to the zoning ordinance. That's at Addicts Way by BJ's to extend that business zone. We have 2012-063, which authorizes the town treasurer to issue refunding of outstanding bond obligations. That's an opportunity to refinance loans at a lower rate and save town money. New business authorization to engage in the process to change health insurance benefits in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 32B, Sections 21 through 23. And then 2012-066, we have a number of appointments to boards, committees, or commissions. We may then have an executive session to discuss litigation strategy and ongoing or pending litigation. And those are the items for this week. And while it's not thick in paper, it'll be thick in substance.
Town Council meets this Thursday night at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall hearing room. You can watch live on Channel 18. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.